Tonight on NewsNation Prime, President-elect Trump takes office in 29 days. His day one priorities detailed today ahead of his inauguration.
Live from NewsNation headquarters, this is NewsNation Prime.
Bringing in our political panel tonight, Republican strategist Matt Klink and Jared Bernstein, Democratic strategist and former Obama administration official. Thank you both for being here. Matt, we're going to start with you. Alina just touching on this in her report. Trump saying he is not concerned about the speculation that Elon Musk had undue influence during the government shutdown battle this week. Republicans are saying that Musk is a valuable asset. Let's take a listen.
Even the federal government can bring in consultants. Think about this. We're bringing in the richest and most successful man in the United States, in fact, in the world. And President Trump has got him to come in to be the government's consultant, to show where we're having wasteful spending, to show where we can do things better.
And they dumped over 1,500 pages on us. And Elon Musk, using the tool of Twitter, brought transparency to the entirety of it. The American public were shocked. We are always shocked when we see these types of monstrosities at the last minute that haven't been properly vetted.
Matt, were you surprised by the amount of power Musk wielded this week? And do you see him being this politically influential, this close to Trump 4 years from now?
I see that Elon Musk being close to Trump as long as Trump perceives that Elon Musk still has value to him. I will say that the benefit of what Mr. Musk did is that he turned on Twitter and took a 1,500-page monstrosity loaded with pork that included a congressional pay raise and expanded health care benefits for a member of Congress. And although the initial result by the Republicans following that failed, the final result, with some Democratic votes, which was a nice thing and a needed thing, was 170 pages that was a much tighter continuing resolution. So, look, I think the mainstream media and the Democrats need to figure out what their line of attack is. Is Donald Trump a dictator or is he a puppet? Because he can't be both, as much as they would like to have it be the case.
Jared, we do see Democrats this week calling Elon a puppet master, calling him President-elect Musk. Your response to all of this?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty bare that it was laid pretty bare what's going on here is that Elon Musk is pulling the strings. Donald Trump is sandbagging his own party, and even Republicans who actually believe in conservative values here, who are doing the tough job, doing the legislating. Donald Trump's not interested in that. He's interested in going on Twitter and hanging out with Elon Musk and making grand pronouncements and not doing the tough work of actually governing. And so I think his party was very embarrassed this week when Elon Musk, after a painstaking deal that was negotiated with Democrats, which, by the way, is what people's constituents sent them to Washington to do. And Elon Musk and Donald Trump said they didn't like it. And so Republicans in Congress, folded like they typically do. And they were embarrassed. And ultimately, they showed a little bit of backbone in the end. But this push and pull is going to get really old really fast for all concerned.
Jared, let's stay with you. I want to talk about immigration. Trump today reiterating his promise to put forth an executive order on this topic, saying he will begin the largest deportation process in U.S. history without adding more specifics. Given the enormity of the task at hand, what do you see that order looking like? What are your concerns at this point?
Well, I mean, I think, it's often said that you campaign in poetry and you govern in prose. I think it's really nice to say we're going to have the largest deportation of bad guys in American history, but show us the next 10 words and the next 10 words after that. How are you actually going to accomplish this without spending the entire government's paycheck and all the military and law enforcement resources we have in the entire country and putting them on the southern border, which, by the way, they're not going to do, and they're not going to be able to deport all these people. People still have due process rights, and there's still a procedure that happens, and executive orders are great, but Donald Trump's setting himself up for a big fail here because he's making a lot of promises that I don't think he can keep.
Matt, the president-elect today also reaffirming his support for several of his picks he's trying to get through. This is what he had to say about Pete Hegseth.
He's going to be great. I've interviewed with him a lot on Fox. And all he ever wanted to talk about was the military, including when we weren't on. He'd talk about the military. He'd talk about how unfairly our soldiers were treated. Can I give a pardon to this one or that one who was treated so unfairly? And that's all he wanted to talk about, really, and it just seems so natural to me.
Okay, do you see Pete Hegseth getting confirmed at this point? And what about RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard?
I think that all of Trump's picks are going to get confirmed. I think that the Senate will do its advise and consent, but ultimately with a 53 vote majority, that they're all going to be confirmed and they should happen as quickly as possible. I do want to add one thing that Jared said, though. I do find it rather rich after the hundreds of billions of dollars that the Biden and Harris administration spent on illegal immigrants over the course of the last 4 years. You know, Donald Trump will spend some money and he's going to go after the criminal aliens first, and the Democrats can rub their eyes and cry all they want. But just watch. He's got 29 days. He's not going to roll everything out immediately. But when the deportations start and good things start to happen, the American people will get what they voted for. And they certainly did not vote for their members to go back to Washington and pass a 1,500-page monstrosity. That's old Washington. That's what they rejected, and that's why the Democrats are now on the outs.
Listen, I think it's really rich that Donald Trump is, has a guy with a rap sheet a mile long of sexual assault allegations to be his defense secretary, has Tulsi Gabbard, who's if you let me finish, we spent time with a dictator like Assad, who we're finally done with, and a guy who denies that the polio vaccine is something we should actually have. Like, God forbid, we should actually have public health and vaccinations that have brought us into the 20th and then the 21st century, but we're going backwards. So I would say the only reason why some of these picks are going to get confirmed is that so many of the other ones are so outrageous that a guy like the defense secretary nominee looks normal in comparison to RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and their attorney general nomination, who lasted about 15 minutes. So the only reason
that Bonnie's going to be great.
All right, Jared, with the time we have left, I do want to return to the Wall Street Journal report that we were talking about at the top of the show, that Biden has been diminished for some time now. The administration is denying that Biden has declined. What is your perspective here?
My perspective is that Joe Biden is a patriot and was a great president and knew when his time was up and he needed to step aside for the good of the party and the good of the country. But to this day, I would take Joe Biden on his worst day, of which there aren't that many, ahead of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump actually just doesn't stand for anything. Is Elon Musk the next highest bidder who's gonna say nice things about him? Sure, bring him into the tent and let him run the government. He was not elected. He didn't earn anything, but we're gonna let him have wide-ranging powers to change the government, to change the social programs that are the fabric of this nation. So you know what? If somebody wants, if you have a donor on TV who wants their 15 minutes of fame, who's going on Fox News talking about all the times that she spent specifically with Joe Biden, which, by the way, I would love to see the log on that, because having spent a lot of time in the fundraising world, that's just not how it works. So somebody wants their 15 minutes of fame, and more power to them, but that's just not the case. And, Joe Biden on his worst day is twice the man that Donald Trump ever will be.
Matt, you get final word on this.
Yeah, what's just starting to dribble out now is nothing. That Joe Biden has been pretty much there. The elevator hasn't been going to the top floor for at least 3 years. You're going to get people, there will be tell-all books coming out, and the American people are going to be appalled. He was a great man. He did some impressive things. His legacy is forever tarnished by the last 4 years. And frankly, that's why the Democrats are on the skids right now. And the party is in reactionary mode. They have no clue about what they stand for and what they want to do. And it's all directly related to Joe Biden. He lied to the American people, and his staff in the mainstream media covered it up. And the cover up is always worse than the crime. You're going to hear ugly, ugly stuff coming out over the next couple months. I will say, Jared, I like your
unlike President Trump was never convicted of a cover up.
Matt Klink, Jared Bernstein, appreciate you both. I regret that we're out of time. Thank you. I appreciate you both coming on the show tonight.
See you later.
Yeah.